Do you have an idea for an innovative product or service? Maybe you want help pitching to investors, or maybe the business you've already established needs a growth strategy. Well, you're in luck. The Entrepreneurship program at Howard Community College can provide you with the knowledge, skills, and resources to help you achieve your goals. On this episode of In Focus, we'll explore the Center for Entrepreneurial and Business Excellence, so stay tuned. Welcome to In Focus. I'm Dr. Kate Hetherington. At the Center for Entrepreneurial and Business Excellence, opportunities for innovative business ideas are born every day. Here to tell us more is the director of the center, Betty Noble. Welcome, Betty.
Hi, Kate. How are you?
I'm doing great, thanks, and thanks for being here today. So let us know how the center was established.
So we established the center as a result of our Commission on the Future, which we hold every 5 years, where we invite people from the business community as well as our faculty and staff in to talk with us about the strategic direction of initiatives at the college. And so from the one about 10 years ago, the idea for an entrepreneurship program came about. However, in this case, it was a little bit different than just the traditional associate's degree in entrepreneurship. They were looking for us to find a way to actually work with individuals in the community who may be non-traditional students who want to start a business. And it's that helped us to come up with the idea of having coaches who will work with our entrepreneurs.
So the coaching approach is quite different. And how's that coaching model used to develop the program?
If a person has an idea, they come to us, and what we believe is that in addition to helping them develop that business idea, we would like them to develop as a person as well, because we believe it's the perfect combination of the two that would have the ideal and successful business. And so the coaching is that component that allows for that sort of dual development. Also, because we are an educational institution, we believe in developing long-term life skills, and so the skills developed through the starting of a business are also useful.
So I've heard you say in the past that it's more of a holistic approach to developing the entrepreneur. So tell me a little bit about that terminology.
So it means developing the whole person as well as the business idea. So for example, we would want to develop in these folks leadership competencies or communication competencies. And so we do that through the coaching. So for example, if a person is going out to call on a potential customer, we aren't only coaching them on what are they going to speak about from a content standpoint, but also how are they going to present themselves, how are they going to engage in dialogue.
Now, one of the things about entrepreneurs that I've noticed is they're passionate about whatever their product is. And how do you get someone to be passionate, or do they come to the center with that, or how do you develop that?
Generally, when somebody comes with an idea, they're passionate about that very specific idea. Our job is to help them fish through, will this idea actually be something that can become a business? On the other hand, or just as important, they need the passion because entrepreneurship is hard. It is hard to start a business. You need to be able to persevere. You need to be willing to fail. We believe that failure is a lesson. And so we provide a safe space where a person could start with one idea and it may not be successful, but they've gained some skills along the way and maybe they'll have another idea. But because it is a challenge, you need to bring the passion with you. So for the most part, when they come in with that napkin or piece of paper with that idea, it's something that they have a real good feeling about.
And one of the things that makes our program unique is that we serve traditional students, traditional age students, returning students. So how does the approach that we have, the holistic approach, the coaching approach, how does that meet the student at their level?
We have several different pathways, as you've indicated, and really try to customize our program to the needs of a student. So a person could come and want to get their associate's degree, so they could transfer to a four-year school. That might be one of our very traditional students. What we realized was at the same time, they might want to start a business while they're here. So we've had, for example, young students who have opened landscaping companies. So while they're working on their degree, and it may be their entrepreneurship degree or a degree in the arts or in some other area, they're working in the individualized program on their business with a coach. The other pathway we find is often with our adult learners. There are people with doctorates or other advanced degrees who come back and say, I'm thinking of leaving my full-time work, or I'm an empty nester, I'm ready to come back, and I'd like to start a business. And so for those folks, it's usually partnering them with a coach, and then maybe they'll also take another class on campus, either in our non-credit area, a workshop, for example, or in our credit area, a bookkeeping class or an accounting class. So it gives us an opportunity to really assess where the person is and make a fit that's going to work best for them.
And that must be kind of challenging to assess, well, first of all, the individual has to assess what they want, but helping them to figure out what they want to do with their product, whether or not they want to go for a degree, whether or not they want to just take a course. How do you do all that? Well,
we have a one-credit course, actually, that's called Entrepreneurial Assessment. And it is really a series of question and answer sessions between the faculty member or myself and the entrepreneur. And what we find is, again, this is part of the coaching methodology, by asking these questions, it helps the entrepreneur to think of things they had never thought of before. So it's really through that entrepreneurial assessment where they develop the questions and the answers are developed, and then they get a set of recommendations, which include all the things HCC can help get them on their way, as well as things in the community that might help them. Then after that, they're generally 80 or 90% of the time they choose to partner with a coach, which is another class called Starting Your Own Business. As they're partnered with the coach, they work through some of the other issues that might come up, much as you suggested. Do I really need to go get a patent? Do I really want to pursue this? Is it feasible? Is it financially feasible? As you know, the success rate of startup businesses in this country is less than 25%. So we have to help them analyze the feasibility of the business idea at a certain point. But we don't want to be too hasty about that, because all along they're developing these other skills and competencies.
So students who are taking either entrepreneur courses or in our program, where do they go from here? Where do they go from HCC?
Great question. So they may transfer to a four-year school. Some of our four-year partners, the University of Maryland, Towson, any of those schools, they may decide to start their business and go to a four-year school, or they may just go out and start their business. And then lastly, they may become employed. We understand from employers that some of the competencies that we are teaching as they start businesses make them very desirable within organizations, because they're self-starters, they've learned discipline and other things. One of our partners is the University of Baltimore, and we actually have a partnership with them where a student can take their business with them. One of the things we found out was, a student graduates from HCC very successfully, wants to transfer, but has this business sort of hanging out there. So we approached UB a couple of years ago, and they said, we'll take them on and we'll continue to help them with their business. The University of Baltimore also has a new program, a fellows program for budding entrepreneurs, and it's a competitive application process, and two of the five of the class that started this past September are HCC students who are down there now. There was a scholarship for them and everything. Our other four-year partnership that we're really proud of is our partnership with Babson College. And as you know, they are in the top 5 in the world in entrepreneurship and business. And they provide an opportunity for our students to transfer in after they finish their associate's degree here in good standing in their junior year into Babson and graduate with their class at the end of the 2 years up at Babson. It's very competitive to get into a school like Babson, and our students don't have to compete. If they want to go there, there's usually financial aid involved. What we do here is a lot of work while they're here with us to prepare them so that when they jump in their junior year, they're ready academically and socially to be at a school like that. And in the last 3 years when we've had this, we've had 2 students who are now up there at Babson, and from what I know, doing very well.
That's terrific. And one thing I didn't ask you about, but I know that we have, is an incubator here on campus. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, our center is a space that has room for 4 startup businesses to have offices and computer and telephone access. More importantly, access to our adjuncts and our coaches on a regular basis, a place to be when they're on campus between classes to go in and work on their business. I like to think of it as the hub for entrepreneurship and business on campus. a hangout, kind of a Starbucks for entrepreneurship. So we're fortunate to have that space.
And how do we work with the county's incubator? If we have someone has a business idea, how do we know if it's appropriate for them to be in our incubator versus the county's incubator?
Yeah, excellent question. We do obviously partner with them. They are very, very good with technology startups. And so the relationship is such that if we have somebody with a good tech idea, we may suggest that they go over and meet with the people at the Maryland Center for Entrepreneurship, and the reverse is also true. They generally don't want to do bakeries or small consulting practices or spas or things like that, so they send them over here. So the relationship is really very integrated.
Anyone listening to this program who has an idea and is thinking, wow, it sounds like HCC is the place for me to go, how do they learn more about the program?
I would love to talk to them, and my phone number is 443-518-4111 at the college, and I can be reached via my email, E for Elizabeth, Noble, at howardcc.edu.
Terrific. Well, Betty, thank you so much for joining me today and telling us about the center. It's a lot of exciting things happening.
Glad I could be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Next up, we'll hear from a student about his entrepreneurial journey and learn how his coach makes all the difference. We'll be right back.
Learning at home. Learning in the classroom. Learning for success. For learning that works for you, choose Howard Community College. To find courses and programs that fit your schedule and learning style, visit hcclearningworks.com. You can get there from here.
Welcome back. Now let's find out firsthand what it's like to be a student at the center. Joining me is military veteran and current student Aaron Giuliano and his coach, HCC adjunct faculty member and CEO of Handteq, Aaron Altscher. Welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Great,
Hi.
Good to have you both here today. Well, Aaron, we're going to start with you. And what I'd like to hear, first of all, is what made you decide to attend Howard Community College?
I was in the military for 4 years, a little bit over actually, and I'm originally from Maryland. So when I came back, I moved in with a couple friends in Columbia, a couple minutes down the street, so I checked it out and enrolled there.
Let's talk about your idea that you had for the 101 class. What inspired you and what was the process?
Well, actually, when I enrolled in the school, I was just taking general courses. I seen the entrepreneur class, and I've always kind of wanted to start my own business, but I felt like I was like a lot of other people that maybe had an idea but didn't know how to start it or pursue it at all. And I thought the idea of the course was really cool. The end product is at the end of the class, you have to do a rocket pitch and present your idea and business plan to the rest of the class. The idea I had was a bear that allowed you to use your iPhone and put it in his face, and when you communicated with somebody else, it looked like they were actually the bear. So it helped ease the stress of long-distance relationships. It made it a little bit light of the situation, people that talk on Skype and your iPhone and stuff like that.
Well, I was at the competition when you won, and it was, first of all, your pitch was terrific.
Thank you.
But secondly, the concept was really unique, and seemed like especially nice if you had children who were communicating with a father or mother who was in the military.
Little kids like looking at the bear and seeing their parents in the actual face, and it's just something that people seem to like.
It's a great idea. So, Aaron, we had talked about, before we got on camera, passion and how important that is for entrepreneurs. Now, what do you know how do you recognize it in someone, or how do you develop it? What is that connection?
When I first work with someone really who has no startup experience, I try to pull out the passion for a single problem that the entrepreneur is looking to solve. And when I first started working with Aaron, he was passionate about connecting two people using technology and a teddy bear. We've pivoted the concept since then. However, Aaron's passion for being an entrepreneur has never wavered, and that is so critical because startup business is very challenging. It's hard, and there's a lot of late nights and a lot of early mornings. And if it feels like work, it feels like a job, then you're more likely to throw in the towel.
Mm-hmm. That's a great answer. So you had the teddy bear idea, and like a lot of entrepreneurs, you don't stop with one idea. You keep moving, you have one idea after another. So what happened after the teddy bear idea?
Yeah, I've had ideas since I was 8 years old. My dad had to sit through my pitches since I was a little kid, and I'm sure he probably nodded me through some of them, but they're starting to get a little bit more real. So from an idea to actually making a prototype and so on and so forth. So I wanted to do the bear for a little while. I came up with another idea that I liked equally as much, if not more, and I thought it might have a little bit more of a future. It's called Fighting For. It's a clothing line that allows us to donate money. We have to different charities. We have hats, hoodies, t-shirts, and more specifically, I created a product that allows you to interchange your hoodie strings. This is actually the product right here. The end tips connect to the other end tips of your hoodie, and you can attach one side, pull them through, and it allows you to change the color of the strings that you have in your hood. Now that allows me to give kids that either don't have that much money and only have one hoodie to change their look, or somebody that likes to match every part of their clothing together to match it up. But each string is related to a different charity, and the color coordinates with the charity, just kind of like the Live Strong band, the Lance Armstrong Live Strong band. And we have gold tips, silver tips, black tips, and white tips, and each of them have a different price scale. So the gold would be the highest level, and if you donated to that, then actually more money would go to the charity.
And all for a good cause, too.
All for a good cause. 100% of the proceeds of the laces go to the corresponding charity, the color that it goes with. So we had a friend actually that had MS. They said orange was the color for that, so that's what we're setting that up for. We have a couple friends want to do something for Wounded Warrior Project, Feeding America, and we're going to donate money for the laces to them.
Terrific. Aaron, why are so many students drawn to creating a socially conscious business?
Sure. So social entrepreneurship has become very popular in the last couple of years. You've heard great success stories like Tom Shoes, the company where you can buy a pair of shoes and they donate a pair of shoes to someone in need. Through 101, Entrepreneurship 101, we study these businesses and we read cases where successful social entrepreneurships are doing good in the world to invoke passion out of the students that could potentially make change, not just to the bottom line, but to the triple bottom line, really to help people as well. So we try to expose social entrepreneurship early on in the class. So when you're doing your rocket pitch, you can kind of think through, well, how can my business help people as well?
So once a student has developed an idea, how do you help them take it from an idea, the concept, to reality?
Sure. So the first question we always ask is, what problem are you solving? You have to solve a problem in the market in order to pay you, for someone to pay you to solve a problem for them. Once we've determined that the problem has been solved and we know who the target audience is who's going to want to purchase the product, then we look at developing a model, a system where you can operate the business really while removing the entrepreneur. A lot of times entrepreneurs will build an entire system around themselves, and then for the rest of their days they're tied into this business system. We really look at developing a process, a system where if the entrepreneur would be able to leave, the system would still operate on its own.
Great idea. So what resources have you connected Aaron with?
Sure. When we first started working together on the Fighting For concept, Aaron needed a rapid prototype, so meaning something tangible that he could show the concept. So for this project, it was the lace tips that connected. We actually leveraged some of the resources at UMBC. They have a fabrication lab, which Aaron on his own attended, created the CAD drawings for his product, and got a prototype made. From there, we connected him to some legal resources and then worked through some vendor relationships where he could get his product produced.
After I had a prototype, Betty and Aaron set up a meeting with a local manufacturer, and I was able to show the prototype to him and see what he thought about it, if he was able to make the piece or explain to me even the process. After we talked to him, he actually showed me that my piece wasn't even possible to be made because it was too complicated, the first one that I had. So I went through 2, 3, 4, 5 different prototypes to get this to work. But all that couldn't happen if we didn't have those meetings in the first place. Also, there's other classes through HCC that I've taken that have helped me through it. Website design, graphic design has allowed me to do a lot of this stuff on my own and not have to pay for other people to make it or other resources, and keep it all in-house as much as possible.
Okay, good. Now, Aaron, what advice would you give to people who are interested in becoming an entrepreneur? Besides going to HCC.
Sure, yes. Come to HCC and work with me.
Right.
Yeah. You really have to surround yourself, one, with a support system. And that's part of being in the program, is you have a built-in support system with a coach, because there are a lot of questions and a lot of challenges that you have to overcome. Second is, make sure you are solving a problem that is a pain point for people. And lastly, it's all about the passion. You really have to come ready and energized and ready to take over the space that you're targeting. Because if you don't think you have the best product out there, nobody else will.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice. And Aaron, would you recommend HCC to a budding entrepreneur?
Yeah, I really would. It's not something I say lightly. I'd be the first one to tell somebody if I didn't like a place. But any place that you can go to and the teachers still communicate with you afterwards, hey, the class is over, but if you still need help, let us know. Give me a call if you're worried about it. Aaron's been more than helpful to do that. If I ever had any questions, I'd text him, I'm having a problem with this. And any place that's willing to take that step and help you pass the business aspect of it, then it's all right with me. I like it.
All right. Well, thank you both for being with me today, and provided a lot of information that I'm sure is going to help many people. So thanks so much.
Oh, no problem.
Next up, we'll visit with the owner of Monarch Holistic Healing, an HCC alum who launched her business in just one semester.
Learning at home. Learning in the classroom. Learning for success. For learning that works for you, choose Howard Community College. To find courses and programs that fit your schedule and learning style, visit hcclearningworks.com. You can get there from here.
Welcome back. Monarch Holistic Healing offers alternative health approaches to children with chronic health issues, as well as health coaching for teens and adults. Here to tell us more is pediatric nurse practitioner Jody Roblyer. Welcome, Jody.
Thank you, Kate. It's very nice to be here.
Well, thanks for being here today, and I'm excited to hear about your business. So why don't we start off by you telling me what your business is?
So my business is Monarch Holistic Healing, and it is a business for children with chronic diseases and disabilities using alternative health methods. So what we try to do is help to guide and motivate children and their parents, because it's a family approach, to changing their lifestyle behaviors to improve their health and spirituality. The goal is to maybe get them off or reduce their prescription medicines, use vitamins, minerals, supplements, use some other techniques like stress reduction, meditation, relaxation, those kinds of things.
All
to help
valuable
them.
things for everyone.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did your experience in the health field influence your decision to start up a business?
I've always had an orientation for natural healing. And I've been a nurse for over 35 years. I've been a pediatric nurse practitioner for like 31 years. And I worked in practice in private pediatrics in Towson for a long time. And I loved my job and I loved the people I worked with. And I still had this inner sense of wanting to do something different and actually a little more, and thinking that health is more than just medication. I actually did go on and I got a certificate in anti-aging medicine and became a fellow in anti-aging medicine. I'm getting great information, lots of evidence base for your practice and what to use. I felt there was something missing. And then I got an email once about health coaching, and I thought, that's it. You know, I can give a prescription to use certain alternative methods, but if they're not motivated, or they don't know how to implement it, or they need to learn something more about it, or they need to find a little barrier inside of them that's preventing them from taking the next step, then health coaching to me seemed like the next logical step.
So that's great.
Yes.
So how did you hear about Howard Community College?
I was in an airplane a year ago in the summer to visit my son going to Denver, and I met a woman who sat next to me who had worked here, And I told her about wanting to have my own business, and she said, "Oh, you need to go to Howard Community College, and they have programs one-on-one for people in the community wanting to start their business in the business program, entrepreneur program." And so she gave me a person to contact, and I contacted them and took a course then.
See, we're recruiting all over. Airplanes,
You never know.
colleges, businesses all over. That's great. So what courses did you take to help you launch your business?
I took the first entrepreneur course. I think it was the fundamentals course with Roger Weber. And it was great. I was very impressed with his expertise and knowledge and doing it one-on-one.
An incredible instructor and a great coach, and has helped many students launch their business. So probably through taking this course, you learned about a variety of things, including marketing. So what helped you through this course in enhancing your marketing strategy?
So I think that one of the things that he did was he gave me this entire packet, like a little manual at the end of what my business was, how he saw. Of course, I had homework to do in the meantime, but I think that it just was good to have something consolidated in a summary format to say, these are some of the things that you have going for you, these are some of the things that you have to work on and get stronger with, and these are the things that you might lay out as a plan going forward.
So he really did a thorough assessment of your business, and I guess the thing for you to do is say, yeah, I need to work on that. Did you fight it, or did you say, yeah, I need to work on that?
I had to redirect myself a little bit because I had a different name for my business at first, and then I decided to change it. I had some other life changes that kind of kept me in a different part of my life for a while, and then I needed to come back to it.
So for your business, if someone wanted to schedule a consultation, what do they have to do for you?
They can call me, or they can contact me through my website, monarchholistichealing.com. And I live in north of Reisterstown, Maryland, and they can come and see me. I can do a consult over the phone. I would prefer to see any child initially, and then I can do follow-ups on the phone. So I can do phone follow-ups, I could do Skype in person, I can do distance, and I can do local.
Great. Jody, thanks so much for joining me today, and you provided so much valuable information. I appreciate your time.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate being here too.
Well, that wraps up this edition of In Focus. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.